If I was a nice chocolate man, I would say, "What's up, my Vikes Nation?" But since I cannot, I'll say, "Welcome to another edition of the Vikes Nation podcast." And today, we're diving into every new Vikings draft pick. So, let's get right into it. Pick 1, Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, Florida. Over 34 games in college, 24 starts. He had 48 tackles, 10.5 for loss, and 6.5 sacks. Some pros: elite physical profile, standing 6'6" and 327 pounds with a 7-foot wingspan. Banks possesses rare size and heavy hands that can dominate the line of scrimmage. He's also a freakish athlete who ran a 5.04 40-yard dash at 327 pounds and showed unblockable flashes at the Senior Bowl. Now, some cons are what everyone talked about during the draft, why Mel Kiper gave the Vikings a C. Cons: durability. He has suffered 2 significant foot injuries in the last year, including one at the NFL Combine that required surgery. The man, to put it in layman's terms, the man broke his foot twice in a year. And he's 327 pounds, so kind of like a Yao Ming in the NBA, a Greg Oden, knock on wood, hopefully not the football version of that. Once you're having ankle or foot issues, this is that big of a guy that can cause issues. But the Vikings actually skipped that for the star potential. And another con is consistency. Analysis is no, he can be a high variance player who struggles to finish plays as a tackler once in range. Now that is a little bit alarming because it points to barely it could be a guy not playing with that high of a motor. A big boy like that, it could be the case. And he doesn't have that meanness, that aggression where he loves hitting people, he loves football. Where we want to hope he's one of the Williams Wall. He's Kevin Williams on steroids. But the Vikings, Flores needs to drill that into him, the team, and him as a person. He has to be an animal, and he has to truly be disciplined. So, hopefully, it sounds like he has an Ndamukong Suh type athleticism, where you can see in his highlights he's crazy explosive, 6'6", 327 pounds. He's going to be batting balls down left and right. He's going to be the opposing line. They're already going to have their hands full with Jalen Redmond. This should be first team All-Pro himself. The UFL flagship boy. Came from the bottom. Now he's one of the best defense tackles in the league. Opposing offensive lines will have their hands filled with him. Caleb Banks, with just that skill, Flores is going to work him good. They're going to get him in great shape. They took a gamble on the pick, but it really could turn out great. 2 guys wreaking havoc. An early upgrade our line in terms of youth, in terms of contract, in terms of potential from Jonathan Allen and co. So he seems like a legit Danielle Hunter, except he's got a few spare tires on him. In terms of athleticism, he's gonna explode through the line. He's gonna make those weak interior offensive linemen like many of the Vikings linemen of the past. It's gonna be over with. He's gonna swipe you to the side with those heavy hands. So it seems like he can get you with obviously power with his size, but he also has that explosiveness. So as long as he stays healthy, could be a knockout the park. Moving on to pick number 2, Jake Golday, Cincinnati. 24 games over 2 seasons there. He had 163 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 5 sacks. So a tackle machine. Some pros: he's an athletic freak. He boasts an elite 9.84 relative athletic score with a 39-inch vertical and a 4.62 40-yard dash. So you get the play on the field, the stats to back it up. He's a tackling machine. And then you get that elite athleticism as well. And he's versatile as another pro. Experience playing as a traditional stacked linebacker, a pass rusher off the edge, and an overhang. And we all know Flores likes those versatile pieces in his defense. Hopefully we have Eric Wilson one more year, but this guy can be an every down player, blitzing, stopping the run, and he's athletic enough to play the pass, it seems like. Some people will question him coming out being a Bearcat, but with that athleticism, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Seems like he loves football. I'm excited. Cons. Instincts. Scouts describe him as quote unquote raw, sometimes struggling to diagnose plays quickly or changing directions in tight spaces. So the first thing Flores is going to have to help him out with in the linebacker group. Thankfully, it is. You do have Eric Wilson and co there to help him out. Van Ginkel, just hopefully he can get on that and he's not defensive Cordero Patterson where he doesn't have instincts. And I said he loves football, but you need to have some instincts. So hopefully he's not tackling guys 5 yards on the field. That's my concern there. And another kind of coverage, his top-down playing style can lead to being out-leveraged in zone coverage or late to recognize vertical routes. So he has the potential to make up for this. He's not slow. But it seems like he likes to go down. Flores is getting him to be a straight-up run stopper, which we needed. The worst thing in the world is having a team run down your throat and not being able to do anything. So it seems like he's an Eric Wilson replacement, and he can make up for his flaws with a little work ethics and coaching and his athleticism. Round 3, I like this. Dominique Orange, Iowa State defensive tackle. 24 starts, 66 tackles, 7 for loss, and 1 sack. And he 24 starts, 50 games played. This boy is a legit Kevin Williams to the T. Banks is the athletic, huge freak. Dominique Orange is Pat and Kevin Williams in one man. He's going to clog up all those holes. Sorry, Lions, you like running in holes? Not going to happen. Hey, Caleb, you need a little help with your banded fingernails? Not happening. Your run game's not doing it. Don't get me talking about Jordan Love. Mr. 2 interception in any important game. So some pros for Big Citrus, Dominique Orange. He's a 322-pound anchor who excels at eating double teams and mucking up lanes. Yet another guy to help out Caleb Banks and Jalen Redmond, the young GOAT. Cons pass rush. He offers very little as a pass rusher with only 1 career college sack. He's an early down specialist. But exactly what we're looking for to stuff that DAM men run in the NFC North. We need to be strong in the trenches. I love it. Keep them in there only on first and second down. Let Flores go crazy when it's 3rd and 11. Finishing. While he is disruptive, his lack of elite speed means he often fails to finish plays on the field. So that's okay. You have the kind of like the 1-2 punch. Dominique, Big Citrus, going to take up the running lane, is going to take up space. Let the linebackers get up and make plays. 2 yards downfield as opposed to 4 last year. And then let the athleticism of Redmond and Banks get after the quarterback and get after that running back, be able to catch him. Round 3 pick from the Renard trade. I'm still crying. Caleb Tiernan, offensive tackle, Northwestern. A lot of people are calling this the steal of the draft. He started 44 games at tackle, 38 on the left side, and was a 2025 team captain. And people said he got better every single year throughout his career. And really showed just being uncoachable, being able to improve and playing in the tough Big Ten on one of the worst teams. They had some Diddy stuff going on last year. If you don't know, look it up. Pros, technique. He's technically a refined tackle with an advanced feel for leverage and precise hand placement. Smart as HELL. Andrew Luck at the tackle. And yep, another pro, positive intelligence. He has an Ivy League level football IQ, is what he's described as, and being a savvy, fundamentally sound blocker. So hopefully he can use that to an advantage and work those little angles. He's calculating the math angle, so I'm trying to think who's a division opponent. So Mr. Micah Parsons just falls on his ASS because that boy doesn't know calculus or nothing. Khan's length. His 32 and 1/4 inch arms are below average for a prototypical guard, which may force him to go to for a prototypical NFL tackle. Which may force him to move to guard. Honestly, as long as he can work somewhere, we need some interior linemen. If he can be a tackle, great, but sounds like he might be a guard, and especially sooner rather than later. And our interior line's been trash, so I'm good with it, other than Donovan Jackson last year. While he's smooth, he can be inconsistent when forced to redirect against elite speed rushers. So his lateral range, he's not the quickest guy, so even if he's smart, he can make up for it, but he can mess sometimes when he's forced to redirect against elite speed rushers. So he'll just need to get better with consistency, especially if you're going to be a tackle, of course. And now going on to these other picks. We got Max Bredesen, fullback, Michigan. Here's a 20 son of a gun, speaking Chinese. 2025 Floman Trophy winner. A punishing lead blocker who helps revive the Vikings' traditional running game, aka he's Caucasian CJ Ham. A good one gone, but a forever Viking, and hopefully Bredesen can come take his place with no worries. Personally, I always like having a fullback in the offense. Okay. Then we have our 6th round pick, Charles Demings, cornerback, SF Austin. Now, obviously, they said he's going to need to work on his tackling because it was very pass heavy in college, small school. But he was basically picked off measurements. He's an athletic sleeper with a 42-inch vertical jump. He's a developmental project with high physical upside. Not mad at it. It's late in the round, and we need some cornerback depth. Lastly, on the defensive side of the ball, let's move over to the offense. We got Damon Claiborne, running back, Wake Forest. I was watching his highlights, and he's really shifty. Went to the same high school as Delvin Cook, a Vikings legend. He's a shifty, high-efficiency runner, known for his agility and ability to create yards after contact. He really looked fun. He looked speedy, he looked explosive, and he looked like he loved contact, despite being a smaller guy. Be interesting to see him convert to the ACC to go from that to the NFL. And last but not least, Gavin Gerhardt. Kind of remind me of Toby Gerhardt. Might literally be Gerhardt. Center, Cincinnati. Another Bearcat matchup with alumni's Ivan Pace and Golday. That is, again, Ivan Pace and Golday. Bearcat duo at linebacker. Don't know if they played together. But moving on to Gerhardt. The center is a gritty, experienced interior lineman with potential as a backup center guard. So, obviously playing in the Big 12, being in the last 7th round pick. He's not going to be our starter, but he does have football experience under his belt. And it seems like he's kind of like that lineman we had signed for a few years in a row. Just that rough dude. But just a gritty guy, kind of like that enforcer in hockey where, hey, he's not the best, but he's going to put his heart on the line. Now, that wraps up our 7 guys. And just to get to go back through talking about them again. Caleb Banks. I'm hoping for the upside. It could very well be a missed 1st round pick just because injury. But I like the snag after letting Quessy go. letting Grenard go. We need some playmakers, so I am not mad at one bit. Let's go, Caleb Banks. 6'6", 327, 5.0 40-yard dash. Explosive. He's the NFL big boy diabetes defensive tackle version of Victor Wembanyama with those intangibles. Moving on to Jake Golday. I just hope he'll be able to read it eventually and it's not frustrating attacking guys 6 yards downfield. I hope he'll be able to take some reps and learn from Eric Wilson and co. Ivan Pace too. And they're a duo, a Bearcat duo for long to come. Dominique Big Citrus Orange. Love him. Pat Williams 2.0, baby. Really needed help on the line. Caleb Tiernan, Northwestern. I could really like him, could fill in at guard. Like the CJ Ham pickup. That means like potential. Claiborne, we need another back with some shiftiness. You know, you can't have just, sometimes you get bored with some of the boring runners. When you watch Claiborne's highlights, he pops off the field. He's dynamic. And Garrett Hurt, some good O-line in depth. So basically, we attacked. Number one, obviously the defensive line, the interior. And with Banks, with Orange, with Golday, those are all Flores picks. Let's stop this run. Flores can get the pass right. 2 guys on the line, beef up that line a little bit with some youth. You got your CJ Ham replacement. You got a cornerback with potential. Get a little secondary help. And sorry, boys, totally forgot about Jacoby Thomas, a safety, Miami, the last 3rd round pick. So many 3rd round picks I forgot. Standout transfer safety for the Hurricanes. Yeah, played with Desmond Bain and co. on that national championship defense. And was the X factor in our secondary. In his senior season, he recorded 76 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 5 interceptions, earning him 2nd team All-ACC honors. With high impact playmaking skills, but inconsistent coverage. So this is Brian Flores' really X factor. Potential Harrison Smith replacement. Hopefully Harry the Hitman plays again. So we can learn from him and just get another Harry the Hitman season. Man is the heart and soul, the Udonis Haslem of our organization. But Thomas seems like he's got the athleticism and he's explosive. Flores, he's going to be fun to watch because Flores is going to use him in the most dynamic ways possible. Pros, he's a high impact ball hawk. Thomas recorded 5 interceptions, like I just said, in his first season with Miami. He also has elite blitzing and run support, 2 things Flores loves, and a safety. An aggressive guy, 3.5 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, and is frequently disruptive and near the line of scrimmage. Literally, he'll be doing the stuff Flores did with Harry the Hitman last year, and hopefully Thomas can learn from him and do it for the next 10. PFF gave him an 87.3 overall defensive grade, 21st among all safeties in the NCAA. He's also capable of playing coverage too. So he's going to be everywhere on the field. He's going to help with the run. He's going to learn on the pass. It sounds like he's not afraid to hit. And it sounds like he can match up with safeties and running backs pretty well. Cons, inconsistent tackling. He shows a tendency to miss tackles in open space. Coverage discipline. He can bite on double moves and get out of position, with coverage labeled as average despite high interception numbers. So it seems like he's got a good knack for the ball naturally, but he can straight up get beat. That's where Harry the Hitman Flores is going to help. And he also lacks a little bit in lateral agility. Limited movement skills can make him vulnerable to shifty runners. He's going to have to learn how to break down and do a secure tackle at the next level, but he seems like a really fun player to watch and can maybe the X factor of the draft, potential star in the 3rd round. And hopefully, what Kwesi was never very able to do, the long-term answer as safety. Like, go let Harrison be with his baby after this next season, if that's what he so wants. Kuiper gave the Vikings a C, citing that the team didn't do enough to move the needle. He only gave a few other teams C grades too. He said, oh, they missed an opportunity on, say, Oregon safety Dylan Thieneman, who went with the Bears. And he thought Thieneman would have been the perfect replacement for Harrison Smith. And so it'll be interesting if he ends up having the better career and Caleb Banks gets injured. That'll be a missed opportunity. He did identify Charles Demings as his favorite day 3 pick, citing his ball hawk production and athleticism. He thought Caleb Banks was a reach. He sees his potential as a run stuffer and interior disruptor, but he was heavily concerned by the 2-foot surgeries Banks underwent in the last year. He thought his favorite selection of the Vikings whole draft, that Northwestern tackle Tiernan, the Vikings got him 47 spots higher than he was expected to be drafted. He's got extensive experience and a nice frame on him, so he can at least be a guard for the next 10 years, hopefully. And thank you guys for listening. Excited for this 2026. Whole bunch of non-confirmed possibilities. Because it's going to be Kyler, it's going to be JJ, is Harry the Hitman playing. How is O'Connell not going to let last year happen again? I think it was a good coach team, but just a lot of things to think about. And I'll be riding with you every single step of the way. Skull, thanks for listening to another Vikes Nation podcast episode. Talk to you guys soon. Skull.